Today we're going to talk about what I have learned over my decade plus of tuning experience as far as what are the biggest issues that you're going to run into whenever you start tuning. Stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back to the garage. And listen, I've been tuning for, I don't know, about 20 years now. A lot of ups, a lot of downs, learning things the hard way. And if anything, I thought, man, I can throw a video together talking about a couple of the things that I've found out along the way that really cause you to stumble up whenever you're trying to get started tuning, or even if you've been tuning for a while and you seem to have issues that creep up that really fight you. And the biggest takeaway I think that I can say when it comes to tuning is generally the issues are not in the tune. And as somebody who's done a lot of remote tuning and heard it, oh, this didn't do this before, yada, 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 it's got to be in the tune, stuff like that. I would say probably 95% of the time, more than 9 out of 10 times, it is a mechanical issue. And that's why every remote tuner out there, or even guys who are doing dyno tunes, will say, make sure the car is mechanically correct for bringing it in. Before spending any money on it, don't waste money thinking that a tune will fix it. Because here's the problem. A lot of these issues are so small that a tune, you can tune around them. You can make it drive appropriately even with these issues. And so you're doing a huge disservice if you are tuning around issues or you're having somebody else that's tuning your vehicle is tuning around issues. So let's talk about, the top 4 or 5 things that I seem to find on almost every single car whenever it comes to tuning. The first one that I want to talk about, misfires. This is probably the thing that I see the most often whenever I'm out there doing tunes on my own stuff or remote tunes for other people. It's misfires. And there's a plethora of things that can cause it. And none of them are going to be tune related. So one of them, if you just put new plugs in, there's a good chance one of the plugs maybe isn't gapped correctly. If you didn't check the gaps on there, you could be setting yourself up for failure. Another one is not using dielectric grease, things like that. There's very simple things that could lead to a misfire. And honestly, we have the ability whenever we're data logging to log a misfire channel per cylinder, and it's calculated, so it's not the most accurate thing ever, but it will give you an idea if you have issues on a certain cylinder. And the thing about it is, the car might idle great. Might break up at the top end, might not idle worth a dang, but it may drive fine. Misfires are so hard to diagnose outside of just looking at the counts of misfire counters because they can show up in so many different ways. But misfires are one of the big ones. So make sure you're logging those misfire channels per cylinder. As I said, if you've got 5, 10, maybe even 15 on a cylinder, that's perfectly fine. It's whenever you start seeing 20 plus on cylinder, say cylinder 4, you've got 30. 40 misfires and everything else is hovering around 10, you want to dig into that. Could be a plug issue, could be a spark plug wire. It's probably going to be a spark plug wire, let's be honest. Could be a coil pack. There's so many things on the ignition side of it that could be causing these issues. Misfire, big number 1. Let's move on to number 2. For our second issue, whenever it comes to tuning and fighting mechanical issues that often cause us problems, it's going to be sensors. And it could be sensor scaling. Say the map sensor's been upgraded and they say, oh, it's a 2-bar or a 3-bar. And then whenever you actually look up the part number, it doesn't line up. So one of the best things that you can do is understand how your sensors are going to read in different situations. Map sensors are real easy to check, key on, engine off. This thing should show 100 kPa because you're reading atmospheric. If it doesn't, you've got some scaling issues. Same thing with the IAT, ECT. Make sure they're reading right. If it's a cold motor, it's been sitting for a while, it should be reading pretty close to ambient. So if it's 70 degrees in the garage, this thing shouldn't be reading 90 in a cold motor. It should be reading about 70 degrees. That leads me to the next thing, and that's just wiring in general. Whenever we dive into these things and we start doing modifications, we're unhooking things, plugging them back in. It's easy to get a pin on a connector that pushes itself out. Doesn't matter factory harness, aftermarket harness, it happens with all of them. So double check your wiring connections. Once again, like I talked about on the misfires, Use dielectric grease, that'll keep liquids out. Make sure that you get good continuity on your pins. Double check your grounds. Grounds get you every single time. And you'll see so many intermittent issues pop up that are so strange. Like they're hard to track down. It'll act right this time, it'll act wrong the next time. A lot of times that's just going to be a ground issue. So check your grounds. Make sure you got good grounds on your block, clean grounds to the engine frame connecting the two, good ground on your ECU. All of these are very critical because everything is using an electrical signal. Without a good ground, the signal doesn't get passed on properly, and we're fighting it. Our next one's going to be an issue that's really not our fault, and that's bad data. Cam data, injector data, stuff like that. A lot of these companies don't pay attention, and this is Crowder. I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying they're giving you bad data, but some of these companies out there that you get cheap stuff from, the data can be suspect, especially on injectors. I get a little bit wary about injectors from certain companies because you can tune around bad injector data to a point, but there's always going to be some small issues that you fight along the way. So be aware that whenever you save $200 on a set of injectors, you might not be getting the best data out there to apply to the tune, and you may end up spending more time than you have to. As a great example, I recently did a Porsche that had an LS swap in it, and this guy just absolutely knocked it out of the park. From the mechanical standpoint, everything just lined up perfectly, and it was the quickest remote tune that I have done. And I even told the guys, like, you did a great job on this build. A lot of times I find whenever I do a remote tune or even one of my own tunes, I spend days, if not weeks, getting all the little bugs mechanically ironed out. And to have somebody that brings you a product that just fires up, whenever you make a change in the tune, it reflects in the log perfectly like you expect it to. Say we're running 20% rich, we take 20% fuel out, boom, and it just nails it spot on. Those are the rarities. That may happen 1 out of 100 tunes. The other 99, you're going to have to be doing some work to figure some stuff out. And if you don't have good data, you're already at a disadvantage. The next one is probably the one I should start with because I'll be honest with you, it's the one that causes the most issues, and that's leaks. Intake manifold leaks. Exhaust manifold leaks. Any kind of leak around there is going to cause issues. On the exhaust side, we're talking about even a small pinhole on your O2 bung is enough to skew that thing super lean. And it may be naked eye invisible kind of thing, but whenever it heats up, it starts allowing a little air in. The hot exhaust gases are passing that pinhole, is pulling fresh air into your exhaust tract and nailing that O2 sensor. Along the manifold mounting on the head, very critical. Any leaks there are going to result in bad readings downstream. Good data in means good data out. Bad data in means bad data out. Same thing on the intake side. We're talking about we are measuring the amount of air that we use to calculate how much fuel that the motor needs to operate properly. If we have a leak on the intake manifold side, a lot of times it's after however we're using, whatever we're using to meter. So if we have a mass airflow over here and we have a leak over here, we are allowing unmetered air to get into the intake. And by doing that, we have more air than the computer thinks, and so it doesn't give us enough fuel. That in turn gives us a lean condition, how bad the leak is. Once again, temperature. As it gets hotter, does the leak get worse? Sometimes it may go away. Leaks are the absolute killer whenever it comes to tuning. So if you're having consistency issues, I would definitely look into both the intake and the exhaust. We need to make sure that our data is valid before we can use it to actually apply to a tune. Listen, these are just a couple things off the top of the dome here. There's plenty of other small issues, and if you've got some that you've stumbled across in your tuning adventures over time a lot, go ahead, hit up the comments, post them down below. Maybe I'll make a video about that topic. You know, what are you guys seeing? These are my top 4 or 5 issues that always seem to creep up no matter what I'm doing. Anytime I'm doing a tune, I have to cross a bridge, and it's always one of these bridges. Ignition issues, leak issues, wiring issues, they're everywhere. Grounding issues, just be aware. 99% of the time, as I said, it's not going to be in the tune, it's going to be a mechanical issue. If all the mechanics are in place and everything is correct, Tunes fall in line very easily. If you are fighting a tune, fighting, you probably have a mechanical issue. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's investigate. Let's verify everything. Verify your sensor readings are right, because the sensor reading being scaled wrong will cause issues. You might get it dialed in at this temperature, then whenever it goes up 10 degrees outside, the sensor actually thinks it's 20 degrees warmer or something, and it skews all your data off, and now your tune's completely wrecked. You retune it at that temperature, whenever it returns back down, we're screwed off there. You know, that's the thing, is like, we will chase our tail. And if you end up chasing your tail too much, you're probably chasing a mechanical issue. Listen guys, I got to get back to it, but you know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. ABT, always be tuning.